We're going to explain how to remove subtotals from a pivot table in this video. Pivot tables are great for summarizing data, but sometimes those subtotals can be distracting or unnecessary. Here's how to get rid of them. 1. Identify your pivot table. First, locate the pivot table you want to modify. It's usually a table that summarizes data from another spreadsheet range. 2. Access the pivot table. Analyze tab. Once you've selected any cell within your pivot table, look at the ribbon at the top of your Excel window. You'll find a tab called Analyze, or sometimes Pivot Table Analyze, depending on your Excel version. This tab contains all the pivot table editing options. If you don't see this tab, make sure a cell in your pivot table is selected. Find the Subtotals options. In the Analyze tab, look for a group of options related to fields. These will often be under a section titled Subtotals, or Totals and Filters. The exact wording and location might vary slightly depending on your Excel version. Or, choose Do Not Show Subtotals. Within the Subtotals options, you should see a drop-down menu or a set of radio buttons. Select the option that says something like Do Not Show Subtotals, or a similar phrasing. The specific label may vary slightly between Excel versions, but it will essentially give you the choice to remove subtotals. This setting typically applies to all rows or columns within the pivot table. 5. Specify the field, if needed. Some versions of Excel might let you choose which fields you want to remove subtotals from individually. If this option is available, you can select the specific fields you want to affect. If not, the previous step affects all fields. 6. Observe changes. After making the change, your pivot table will update, and the subtotals for the specified fields will disappear. If you've chosen Do Not Show Subtotals, then all the subtotals from the table should be removed. Grand totals. Remember that removing subtotals doesn't automatically remove the grand totals, the overall summary at the bottom or right of the pivot table. If you also want to remove the grand totals, you'll usually find a similar option near the subtotal settings within the Analyze tab. For a checkbox or setting for grand totals and uncheck it to remove them. Undo option. If you accidentally remove subtotals you need, use the undo function, typically Ctrl+Z or CMD+E, to restore your pivot table to its previous state. That's it! Now you've successfully removed the subtotals from your pivot table. Remember that these steps are very similar across different versions of Excel, but the exact wording and location of options might differ slightly. If you have trouble finding the specific options, try searching the Analyze tab for keywords like subtotal or total.